AskReddit by Pink. What are some disadvantages of being a man? Not as serious, but I fucking love candles, man. I like my shit smelling nice. So when I walk into Bath and Body Works, I'm trying to get me a few candles on sale to keep my garage and room smelling like a damn field of flowers or a forest. But no, I'm always met with these for your wife, girlfriend, mom, auntie, tc, na mf, are these mine? I have nice smelling candles, soaps, love rom-coms, and am very into romantic dates. I haven't had an issue since I owned up to it and lived my life, straight white man, late 20s. I think it helps that I also played contact sports, am in good shape, as quite extroverted, and have a good career. Still, I found owning the things I like, also love action movies and many manly things, has made everything easier. The few people who gave me shit either got my I don't care, grow up response, or I dropped them out of my life. It's worth being who you are. I feel like I can't share how I'm feeling sometimes. Sometimes? Understatement of the year for most, haha. Military conscription. One day all the politics you have been ignoring comes to your doorstep. This is a huge issue in South Korea, where 2 years of service is mandatory for men but not women. Men are sick of it, and I don't blame them. Hair. Too much at the wrong places, too little on the right ones. All my hair is migrating from my head to my ears and shoulders. Ha ha ha, middle age is disgusting. All I want is a hug. I just want a woman that truly loves me. Not even sex, just to be able to hold someone. Someone who can just pet my hair and tell me something nice every once in a while. I still remember compliments I got when I was 12. I'm 25 now. Laying in someone's lap and being petted is one of those sweet little moments in life. Whether it's a girlfriend or my mama, I love it. I had covered a week ago real bad and said my body aches hurt a lot and I was coughing up blood, enough to go to urgent care, and the nurse suggested it was the man flu. What the fuck does that even mean? You're automatically at fault in any domestic disturbance situation. Almost got arrested one night because I was just trying to get away from my blacked out, screaming then girlfriend. I was friends with a woman in my building. And then one day, we weren't. I went from being the best person ever, to being everything that was wrong in her life. A few months later, I'm house cleaning, and realized that there was a big box of her stuff still in my closet, that I had been storing for her. So I left it at her door while she was gone. Couple days later, cop at my door. Evidently she had told them I was stalking and harassing her. I gave them the story, pointed out she didn't freak until after I gave her keys back to her, and that, seeing as we lived in the same building, walking past each other was going to happen. Showed them the stuff she had been throwing down into my hedge, and a year's worth of emails proving we had been friends. Cop was like, oh dear. Now I have to go back tell her not to make false accusations. Sorry to bother you. Sexual harassment at work. I'm expected to just deal with it when a group of women in their 50s surround me and grab my ass. Besides, I enjoyed it anyway. Oh, did I mention those women are either in finance, that is responsible for paying my salary, or HR? There's a strange psychology to it all, hey? Fun story. I was at a corporate event in my 20s and this is an important detail, was wearing a snap button denim shirt. I could tell that there was a group of ladies eyeballing me for a while but didn't think much of it. One of them, a director, so 3x my senior in the corp hierarchy, finally rolled up to me, grabbed the top of my shirt and just reefed it open. The stupid snaps easily giving way and I was just bare-chested in the middle of a big work event while the other ladies cheered and ogled. Nearby colleagues laughed while I sheepishly buttoned back up. I was embarrassed but I also just wrote it off in the moment as a harmless laugh at my expense. In fact, reading this back it's hard not to see the comedy. If it happened in a movie everyone would laugh, but in reality it felt real greasy. I had to go back to work with these people though. Baldness. While most men can't, certain men can make it work for them. I always loved Patrick Stewart's take on this when confronted about not having a cure to baldness so far in the Star Trek future. He retorted that in the future no one cares if you're bald and it's no longer a social stigma because we've grown as a society. People expect you to pull it together at any situation. I think there is a real benefit to being able to pull your shit together when you have to. On the flip side, there's a real inability to lose your shit and be vulnerable as a man when you can. Child custody. I have friends who are amazing men and their ex-wife is just the worst. One story in particular. Man was fully employed, educated and paid all the bills. She was stay-at-home mom but sent the kid to grandmother's daily. She began using drugs and alcohol heavily. It took years for him to get full custody, let alone shared custody. It took 4 separate negligent circumstances where the mother left the child in harm's way before finally rewarding full custody. My friend's lawyer said all you can do is photograph and document and hope it will be enough. Since then she now has supervised visits as the neglect continued even during the days she had her son over. She's off drugs and alcohol now, good for her, but she will still last second cancel having her son over because, and I quote my friend, better plans came up. This is a big one. I've seen it happen a few times in my friend groups. When couples break up, a lot of dads get the short end of the stick. Even when they are an excellent, or even the better, parent. And the legal battles and tug-o-war that ensues is heart-wrenching. Sometimes I just want a hug and a cry, but get weird looks if I ask my friends. Dude, I find myself shedding singular tears in movies because I'm so used to holding everything else in. Small things break me down. The constant feeling that crying is a crime. If you let a single person see you cry, you must have full trust in them or have the haunting feeling that everyone around you knows the truth about how pitiful you are. I was dating a girl and one time I was listening to a song that reminded me of my mom and I just started bawling. She laughed at me. Bye you heartless bitch. Also, your ass stinks. Having to take the initiative, especially for shy guys. I'm not even shy. A girl came all the way to me in the club and then waited because her friend told her that I'll approach her. My friend later told me that I should have approached her. Bro, why? Because that's your job. I'm tired of this BS. If you're interested, just say it, regardless of the gender. The pressure I have to support my family, work through the pain of my body I ruined in the military, and I have to appear to be happy. If I told people about the weight I feel every day, they would laugh at me. It hurts so bad and I'm not sure how much longer I can keep this up. The stress that causes keeps me awake at night. Hey man, please talk to someone about it. Life is tough as it is, we don't have to make it tougher for ourselves. I'm rooting for you man and here if you wanted to vent. Almost always have to initiate. Even when we're married most of the time. Sucks ass. I just wanna feel desired. Deleted. This one annoys me the most, especially because I have some interests and hobbies that traditionally are not masculine. I quilt. I go to quilting shops, quilt groups, and sit there and make patch quilts. But then a month later I'll be in the woods harvesting deer, and when I get back into town with a cut up dough in ice chests, I'll go buy a bunch of artisanal soap from all the little mountain shops. Imagine assigning a fucking gender role to an interest. Lack of physical touch when single. The last proper hug I received was around 6 years ago I think. Edit. Wow, the amount of love I received in just one single comment is heartwarming. Thanks to all those who took their time to comment. To all the women who mentioned they regularly hug their male friends. You are awesome and your friends are lucky to have you. To all the men who offered me a hug, I genuinely appreciate the sentiment, but that's not exactly what I am looking for. To that one guy who offered to spank my butt and ring my bell up, most definitely not what I am looking for. That's a thing I will miss when I move out from my parents. I really liked getting hugs from my mum when I'm miserable. No one gives a shit about you. Sad, depressed, abused, suicidal? Man up. And you better not cry. If you are a victim of domestic violence, people won't take it seriously. People don't think that women can be vicious. I had a friend whose pregnant GF started beating the shit out of him for some minor slight, and he had to just take it or he knew she would call the cops and he would go to jail. His face was a mass of bruises and cuts. Stitches were required. He called the cops for an ambulance because his eyes were nearly swollen shut and they took him to the police station. She told them he beat her even though she had not a mark on her. He didn't stay long. Fortunately, they eventually believed him and took him to the ER, but nothing happened to her. Nothing. And the dumbest took her back. On average, significantly longer prison sentences for the same crimes. Here is an for sex with underage student news story B0080454BF0ed5F6D9CC 2081F5C910 on how light those sentences are. There is like societal pressure as a straight man to be the one who goes after a woman, and there is a lot of rejection that goes along with that. Not to mention it's a double-edged sword. Many women do not like to be approached by men and it can be perceived as creepy even if it's done in a non-aggressive manner. People just assume we're oblivious, like flirting for example. We hear your signals loud and clear. We're just so worried that we're reading them wrong so often won't act on them, cause if we do then we're pigs and disgusting. Comment based edit. Okay, so clearly some men are just straight oblivious, but my point is just because we don't act on your signals doesn't mean we don't hear them. Maybe we're not interested, or maybe we're worried because if we're picking up on signals that you're not, or don't realize in some cases, that you're sending, then we're the bad guys. Not only that, sometimes you do hear the signals, you are just not interested. But then comes the shame from other guys, and sometimes you are just too awkward to tell a girl to stop clinging to your arm. I've had cases where a girl starts getting touchy and flirty and I'm just not interested, and after not going through with it, I ended up with other guys going, dude, why didn't you at least kiss her? She is so hot. Or dude, she is so into you, why don't you approach her? Maybe because I don't want to. Maybe because men can also feel uncomfortable when a girl is being pushy. It's not just a thing women experience, but no one really considers it when it happens to a guy. You can't be near a kid without raising some kind of suspicions. Once was asked by a kid at the mall to help him find his parents. He reached for my hand to hold it and he held my finger as we wandered around looking for his mom. Finally found her and she said, "Get away from my son, you creep. I'm calling security." I was so dumbfounded, like very confused. Didn't even know what to say, and the kid was defending me like, "Mommy, he helped me find you," and she completely ignored it. Had to explain to security what happened because they did eventually track me down. Edit. I was 17 when this happened, almost 15 years ago. Nowadays I'd go about it differently. How exactly IDK, but I definitely would record the whole thing. Lots of stress and pressure to act like a man. Being the sole man in the office, I'm expected to lift large objects while looking like a buff ass while having noodle arms. It's never brought up that Angela regularly works out and can lift 5 times as much weight as I can. I have a 6'4" co-worker who is a giant teddy bear. A crazy cracked out guy was in the lobby bathroom and my older female co-worker wanted him to go chase the guy out. Big guy was like, "Hell no, I'm not getting stabbed, call the police." Female co-worker was all salty because he was big and male and therefore should have handled the issue. "Lady, we have a working relationship with the police. We can call a deputy on their cell phone and they'll be by in 90 seconds. Don't make the animal rescue guy try to fight a meth head." Suicide and homelessness. Edit. Yes, women attempt suicide more often. That is brought up every time this is mentioned. But men kill themselves 3-5x more often. Full stop. When the men I know kill themselves, I don't get to tell them that women also attempt suicide. They're just gone forever. And it is consistent with a broader Western world, so it's not just a US gun issue. I suspect it's lower reporting of suicide attempts as well. I've been on the phone with male friends as they were trying to kill themselves twice, one of which was a partner. None have sought further professional help from it, or told their friends despite hospitalization. I'm 17, there's no way that even half of the male suicide attempts are actually reported to anyone. Men live 5 years shorter than women in the US. This gets widely attributed to behavior differences, but multiple studies have shown this is only a small part of the reason. The reality appears to be that women have the advantage of homologous genes due to their XX chromosomes. These homologous genes allow for more opportunities for gene self-repair. Also, height differences make a big change. Stress on the circulatory system can do some time on for. You barely get it on. What's this belly? Never. No girl will come and talk to you first. Almost never. The one time I was hit on by a woman was at a bar, and she was falling off the stool drunk. I wanted to be flattered, but I also know better than to engage in any way.